Hello everyone, this is Mojtaba. I'm going to talk about the rating systems and censorship. Nowadays, many people are criticizing the violence in games. There is a controversy about video games that says video games should be limited in order not to raise any anger or violence of players. Although video games pros overweigh their cons, still people want to limit video games even more not to show any kind of violence in games. There is a rating process named Content Descriptor, which sorts the video games in different categories: violence, sexual content, drugs, alcohol, tobacco use, bad language, gambling reflect the game's rating. Parents usually use this rating system to decide if their children can play a game or not. Children spend less time playing violent video games when their parents use the rating system to guide purchases and set rules for video game play. Laxniak says. Violence, as it can be guessed what it means, is one category a video game can be among of. Depending on the violent amount in the game, it can be sorted to different ages: kids, youngsters, or adults. Another category for a game is depending on the sexual content. It means how much of nudity or sexual activities like a real intercourse happen in the video games. Usually these kinds of games are prohibited for kids and sometimes they are just for adults to be played. Drugs, alcohol, and tobacco use is another point that a video game can be categorized with. Also, in addition to some bad habits like use of drugs, video game can be categorized to its characters' language, like if they are using bad or insulting words. These kinds of games usually are banned for kids or children, while games which include not too much of obscene language can be played by kids. Another part of the categories, which is one of the big concerns, is gambling. This is a big concern because the game can be included gambling inside itself with its inside money that just could convey the sense of the gambling to players, and sometimes this is the real money players should spend on the games and they can lose it. Even though there might be many organizations take care of the rating process, there are two main bodies most games are rated with: PEGI and ESRB. PEGI stands for Pan-European Game Information. Probably it can be guessed that this is being used in European countries, but as years went by and new policies are settled for rating games, many countries now are using same content to rate video games. PEGI puts a game in one of these categories. 3. This category can be played by any age. These games are free of violence or mildest form of it. 7. Whoever are higher than 7-year-old can play these games. It doesn't include intensive violent scenes. 12. 12-year-old or older can play these games. This rating contains sexuality suggestive content, gambling, and bad language in mild form. 16. As it can guess, it can be played with the age of 16 and older. This rating can be contain much more reality form of violence, like bleeding. 18. These games are prohibited for under age of 18 and just adults can play these games. Anything that decides the game rating can be found in these kinds of games, such as gambling, pornography, and so on. ESRB stands for Entertainment Software Rating Board. It is accepted by US, Canada, and Mexico for rating games. The categories are almost same as PEGI, but it uses words rather than numbers. ESRB categories. RP, rating pending, means the game still is under the process and hasn't been categorized yet. EC, early childhood, can be played by kids. E, everyone can play this game. E10 plus, 10-year-old and above can play this game. T, teen, it is dedicated to age of 13 or higher. M, mature, they are meant to be for 17-year-old or above. AO, adults only, just meant to be for adults, and it is sometimes hard to find such games in stores because stores usually refuse to sell these games. Almost all of them are included pornographic or strong sexual content. To be concluded, by considering these two rating organizations, at least these two actually, which rate video games maybe better than movies, there shouldn't be any concern regarding the age rate who can play a game. It is absolutely important that we have the rating system for categorizing games, but as a member of a big society, we can rely on rating categories that is mentioned on the video games boxes without any doubt.